Good evening, everyone. I'm Shweta. She is Guinea, and we are back again with Polumi. Hi, Polumi.
Hi, good evening. Hope
Yeah,
everyone is doing fine. And it's always, I also look forward to Tuesdays. I cannot say the same for my daughter because she just very suspicious looks in the evening the moment I open her Almira. I said, okay, कौन book ले रही हो तुम?
right. Which book have you brought today, Polumi, to recommend to Guinea and her friends?
Okay, so it's one of our another very favorite book. It's called The Ammuchi Puchi. It's written by Sharanya Maniavan, illustrated by Nerina Kanzi. A special mention about both of them. Sharanya is a fantastic poet, and if anyone has read her book for not the young ones, but I mean young people can also read, called The Queen of Jasmine Country, which has been written by Andal. She is lyrical, right? And Nerina Kansi is an Argentinian illustrator, and you can see the beauty that she creates. When she, when sort of sorry, I think, huh?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Ammuchi is grandmother, and Puchi is insect in Tamil. Uh, so, this book is a very, very interesting book, a poignant tale about dealing with loss, right? So these two kids loses their grandmother, and how children cope with loss, right? Because most of the time they do not know how to articulate grief, how to process it at the same point of time. They just know that the person is there and now the person is not there, and something has happened. But so it also speaks very beautifully not only about coping, Shweta, it's also about memories. Every loss also means so many of memories, right? So it's also filling in. There is a void which is getting filled in, and how you cope with memories along with grief. And Puchi is a metaphor, is a symbol. It's about this butterfly, right, who keeps on coming, and they remember many things where the butterfly leads to. Uh, and those images, those objects where it sits, were all associated with this grandmother. I found in the current times where all the children, irrespective of going through a loss or being locked up at home, unable to process what is happening, I think I think this book just tells you to cope. That yes, I mean the times are horrible at this point of time as a child, but there were good times, and there will also be, as long as we don't lose hold of our memories of good times. We will never lose hold of hope, and that is very important at this point of time for children to remember. And of course the illustrations, and I think the last page where Amachi is just like a shadow, whereas they are now in peace with each other. If you see, it's a beautiful book.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already know why should children read it. What has
Mhm.
been your experience of reading it with your daughter? Have you read it with her?
Yes, we have, and she misses it. She understands loss in a little different way, because I mean, this summer vacation we were supposed to visit her grandparents, my parents, which she is not able to do. So she is missing a lot of things, right? And we are saying, okay, now you remember, you draw what you did, what you really loved well, right? Durga Puja you loved, can you do that? And Shweta, trust me, that is working, because she's drawing images, she's speaking to them, she's thinking about them. So loss can be of different forms and varieties, right? But I think it's also important to speak about grief and loss, um, in a way that children understand, express, process, and then maybe coping with it altogether. Hai hi nahi kuch, it doesn't make sense. I mean, at least, I mean, we don't do it in this way, because I think all of us are also going through our own individual anxieties at the same point in time. So I think
Right.
it was a good way also to introduce a sense of grief. Of course, there is a oneness when you find, and there are very poignant images of someone sad, right? In this, so those are also the things which resonate very nicely with children, and it's a very colorful book also, so it makes you feel nice.
Right, right. This
Yeah.
reminds me, the conversation that I had with my son like 2 days ago. We
Mm,
had three baby chicks and one chick called Rolly. He passed away. He was very
mm,
sick.
mm,
And it's been like over 2 months, right? So 2 months have already passed, and suddenly Soham says, um, मम्मा हमने रोली तो मतलब हमने उसको ठीक भी करने की कोशिश की, उसको दवाई भी दी, फिर भी वो मर गया. So, and then of course the next thing that he did was he went to a phone and found Rolly's photo and said, "Isko hum, we will put this as a wallpaper." And so that's how he remembered
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just went ahead, So yeah,
I think it's very
yeah,
important to speak about it, not to brush off.
yeah,
Often we are very afraid
exactly.
of bringing up topics we think are very grave with children. It doesn't help because they
Yeah,
have some sense of it and the rest they fill in, which you don't know what it is leading to. Rather, it's important to allow that, to allow them to grieve, right? Because that's real. And then help, you know, equip them to learn to cope up with it at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Polemy, for talking about it. But is there any particular part from this? I know that you said that your daughter has understood. I
Yeah.
mean, she understands things differently right now. But is there any
Yeah.
favorite part that she has from
Yes.
this book? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so there is one thing I will read. Uh, I wanted to lie. So there are brother and sister. Anjali is the sister. So the brother is saying it's his narrative, right? I wanted to lie, but Anjali could not keep her mouth closed. Ammuchi Puchi showed us. We followed her to her room. Then we opened all the boxes. She showed us. Amma, we found your scarf too. And then we found this. So basically, there was this butterfly which was flying from one place to another, and the children almost was a memory anchor for them. They thought that it's leading them, and it's a metaphor very nicely because Sharana, as a poet, used it. It's like it's already there in you, a clue, right? Or speaking about it just helps you now to articulate, to give it body and life, and so that you can speak about it. So yes, it will sit on the drawer, and then it will sit on a box, and you will think on, oh, acha, it is there, and then it is there and stuff, and it really worked because. I remember one day Suni was really crying that I want to go because I think she was just pent up, altogether. And I said, okay, what would you do if you go, right? And can we also see pictures, right? What we had, like photographs at the end of the day, right? For us, the easiest piece of memory that comes. And then she looks at it and said, no, I want to see this because I remembered that. And I also understand articulating memory is also equally important. It helps you suddenly to breathe and hold the grief in your hands. And you have a peace suddenly to lament, to miss. Along with it, Shweta, you're also finding a hope to go back to it. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Great. Thank you, Polemy, for bringing this book, another wonderful edition. So I think for audience, we should just also inform them, that this is the eighth book that we covered today.
Yeah.
But that there is all this is already listed in one place for you. So if you go to Instagram profile of Planet Guineas, you'll see guides, and one guide is all about what Guinea reads. So everything in one place. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see again one playlist only of what Guinea reads. So just go ahead and see it there, everything together for you in one place. If you want to know what all Polemy and her daughter are going to continue to recommend us every week.
Right.
Right.
There's one thing I missed. Usually, I always speak about the publication. Here it's Puffin, which is the children's imprint of Penguin. So, once again, so
Right.
far we are still dealing with Indian publications.
Right. Thank you, Polemy, and thank you, everyone. See you again next Tuesday with another book.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.